What is going on, everybody? Welcome to my Week 9 NFL picks. And I tell you what, we started this off just kind of trying to have some fun, talk some football, pick the games. But we're sitting here 39-15 against the spread since we started doing ATS. We're now 500 picking upsets. And you got guys in Vegas getting, hundreds of bucks per subscriber to get their picks. We're out here doing free videos twice a week or every 2 weeks, and then a exclusive for my patrons every third week. But you're not going to find anyone in Vegas, I don't think, that's 39-15 against the spread, 500 picking underdogs, and 73-36 overall. So needless to say, the picks are going well, and we got a little bit of a hidden gem here on the TFG channel, and I'm having fun with that. So last week, like I said, went really well. 15-0 overall, 2-0 on upsets, 8-4 against the spread. And as far as the upsets are concerned, that's right there is what I'm most proud of. We said if we could go 500 picking upsets, you're making a lot of money because you bet money line on an underdog and you're making over 100% on your investment. So that's been good. And just a reminder, if you do want to get in on the action, gamble responsibly, but there is a referral link to Bovada in the description below. Follow that. You will get a match on your first deposit, good for one bet worth half your first deposit. So if you are interested, follow that up. So let's get into the Week 9 picks here, starting with the Thursday night football game, Oakland at San Francisco. Was really surprised to see Oakland as a 3-point underdog. I thought this would be, like about a pick'em game. Oakland maybe -1. I know I have them last in my power rankings, but when I really actually sat down and analyzed this game, I just feel like Derek Carr and John Gruden, they can move the ball pretty well offensively. And I get the 49ers have a good offensive line in Kyle Shanahan, but I don't trust CJ Beathard, even if he's healthy, and CJ Beathard might be injured in this game. He's still questionable as far as I'm concerned to even play this game, let alone, if he does play, I don't know how good he's going to be able to throw the ball with. I think it's like a hand or a wrist injury. So I think Oakland's going to be able to do more than San Francisco in this game. I don't trust Oakland's defense at all by any means. But I think 27-22 here. It's my first upset of the week. We got 6 upsets throughout this week. It's going to be a fun week for the picks. So let's move on to one of the many games of this week, Pittsburgh at Baltimore. It's going to be another classic AFC North battle. People still really high on Baltimore. I had no idea why they were favorites in Carolina last week. We picked Carolina. That paid off. And yet again, I'm not really sure why Baltimore is a 3-point favorite in this game. I think Pittsburgh is the much better team right now. They are hotter. They can score the ball, which is important. I don't trust Baltimore to really score. They have a decent run game, but Pittsburgh's defense figured some things out. I thought Pittsburgh should have been favored by a point or two in this game, and they're getting 3 points. So I'm going to take Pittsburgh in this game. I'm sorry, Ravens fans. I've picked against you the last 4 weeks. You've been 3-4 in that stretch. But I'm picking against Baltimore yet again. It's an offensive league. The offensive teams like Pittsburgh, who's got one of the best and most explosive offenses in the league, traditionally will win out in this situation. Could it go either way? Absolutely. But I like my money on Pittsburgh this week. And then we've got Detroit at Minnesota. Feel pretty good about this one. Minnesota's done this, not just this year, but in the past with this Zimmer organization. They'll have 1 week where they just look really bad, and they really blew it against the Saints. I thought they could have had a much more competitive game, and it really wasn't even close because of turnovers, injuries. They're coming home again this week against Detroit, who's lost a little energy as the front office trades away Golden Tate. I think Minnesota takes care of business here. Detroit will get theirs, but I think Minnesota gets a defensive touchdown in this game. Some big plays from that offense. I also like that Detroit does not have a pass rush, and that is Minnesota's Achilles heel, is dealing with those good pass rushers. So I think a pretty big NFC North win here for the Vikings. And then let's move on to another big game here, Atlanta at Washington. And this one's interesting because a lot of Washington fans pissed off at my power rankings. Don't have them as a top 10 team. I've criticized their ceiling this year. And sure enough, they're only a 1.5-point favorite here at home against Atlanta. So Vegas is saying Atlanta's actually the better football team. Just give Washington the advantage because of home field. And I kind of am buying that. I'm taking Atlanta this week. I've criticized Washington for, they're a really solid team, and they take the ball away and they run the ball. They play old school, hard-nosed football. I think they play the game the right way, and I think they're well coached. But when it comes to an explosive offense like Atlanta, that's not Washington. And I know Atlanta's defense isn't that good, but I don't think Washington's going to come out in this game and just change their identity and attack Atlanta in the way that I think you have to beat them. I think the way you beat Atlanta is you just go vertical, get big plays, because they're going to come. They're going to keep scoring. Now, little scary betting on Matt Ryan on the road against a good defense here. I don't feel like absurdly confident in this, but I just think Atlanta's going to put up more points than Washington. And there's a good chance Matt Ryan makes me regret doing this, but for the last 4 or 5 weeks, Matt Ryan's been pretty solid. So I'm going to take Atlanta in my third upset of the week for this one. Now we've got Tampa Bay at Carolina. I am going to take Carolina, going 27-19 on this one. So Carolina to cover. I just still don't trust Tampa Bay. I think they have a chance to win this game. But in terms of consistency and my ability to trust them, just not really there. And Carolina has been very consistent this year, so they should take care of business here. And then Kansas City at Cleveland. I didn't really understand the firing of Todd Haley here. I get firing Hugh, but you've got the rookie quarterback who's already dealing with a bit of an unstable situation with a poor group of receivers. The offensive line hasn't been very good, and now you take away everything he's learned about NFL offense since he got here. So I think this is going to be a pretty sloppy week for Cleveland offensively. Defensively, they might do some things, but Kansas City, they just keep coming. So I think Kansas City wins pretty convincingly this week, 27-12. New York Jets at Miami. This is going to be an ugly game. The Dolphins like to turn the ball over with their defense. The Jets seem to like to give the ball away on offense. So turnovers are going to play a factor here. It could go either way. I do think the Jets have the higher ceiling here. I think they'll be able to score and move the ball much better than Miami. It's just a matter of who can finish drives, who turns the ball over less. I'm going to take the better overall team here in the Jets. But Miami at home, we've seen them win scrappy like this earlier in this season. I don't have a ton of confidence here. If Miami pulled this one out, got a big play from Jakeem Grant or a pick six or something and won this game close, would not surprise me in the absolute least. And then we got Chicago at Buffalo. I was really, really surprised to see Buffalo as 10-point home underdogs. I don't know the last time the Bears were 10-point favorites on the road. I mean, maybe 2007, but probably not. So speaks volumes to how bad Vegas thinks Buffalo is, how bad they think Nathan Peterman is. And when you look at this game, I'm assuming Khalil Mack will be back here. I don't see how they're possibly 10-point favorites without Khalil Mack, but I think really low scoring. I think Buffalo plays really good defense at home. But their offense is just one of the worst we've seen, frankly, in my life. They just can't move the ball to save their life. But I do think Buffalo's defense is going to play well, especially because they're a disciplined team playing at home here. Chicago's offense has been better, but a lot of that production has come on big plays, and I think Buffalo's going to limit that a little bit. I think their offense is a little overrated right now. So I am going to take the Bears, but 17-9. Low-scoring game. I am not comfortable taking the Bears, getting 10 points. I just don't think they're 10 points better than anyone right now. But this spread certainly is making me rethink how I didn't have the Bills dead last in my power rankings that week, because that is just ridiculous. Now we've got the Chargers at the Seahawks, one of many good games this week. Really excited for this one. I think this could go either way. While I think the Chargers have the better roster, you've still got the factor there of can they close games? Can they make field goals? Can they not fumble? The weird Chargers effect. They seem to be shaking it off, but I still don't fully trust them. And Seattle is just the opposite. They have a supremely less talented roster, but are way more sound fundamentally. Russell Wilson's playing lights out. I think they're much better coached. and they're playing at home here. So this game is going to come down to the wire. I see this playing out. I think the Chargers come out fast and then kind of stall in the third quarter. Seattle's defense bunkers down. Russell Wilson kind of storms back, and then we get it comes down to the last drive. I think it's going to be a really good game, but I am going to take the Chargers in the upset this week, 26-23, but I think it could go either way. Houston at Denver. This is a pick'em game this week, and I think it should be. Denver's defense, I think, is going to do a really good job getting after Deshaun Watson, slow down some of these explosive plays they've been getting against lesser teams lately. And then really the same thing could be said about Houston, but it's not like Denver's been too explosive. So I think pretty low scoring, but I am going to take Denver, the home team here. I think Von Miller's going to do some really nice things this week. Chubb could have a big week against that Houston line. So I'm going to take Denver 19-16, but a low confidence pick. Could certainly go either way here. And now the Rams at the Saints. Arguably the game of the year. This is going to be so fun. The two best teams in the NFC. Now, the Rams, I thought, really the last 3 weeks, they've found ways to win, so that's something. But I think especially defensively, they've shown that they're not a very good defense right now. And the Packers showed last week that if you can get a rush after Jared Goff, he's not really that special. You give him time, and he is something else. But the Saints, I think, are just rolling right now. And I'm going to take the Saints this week, and I actually think they're going to win somewhat convincingly here. 33-24. Could be a statement win for New Orleans. Now, the Rams, like I said, they keep finding ways to win. Things can get sloppy, but they just pull it out. So, I mean, if they win, no, I won't be surprised, not at all. But I am going to take the Saints delivering the first loss on the Rams, and it's really going to make things interesting for the home field advantage into the playoffs, as the Saints will now be the 1 seed in the NFC. And then speaking of good games, it's GOAT week. Green Bay at New England. I've had a ton of fun with this one on Twitter. You guys know I don't refer to Tom Brady as the GOAT because I think Aaron Rodgers is the better quarterback in terms of give me one quarterback to win one game, to build a team around, all that. I don't refer to either of these guys as the GOAT. I just think to be the greatest of all time, being the best player at your own position seems like a good start. But we won't get into that. Let's talk about this game. I think Green Bay, defensively, no idea why they traded HaHa Clinton Dix away, but it shouldn't have too big of an impact on that defense that has most of the season been a one-half team. We saw it again last week. The Rams just lights out defense in the first half and then kind of fell apart in the third quarter, but they did bunker down a little bit in the fourth, and the emergence of Jair Alexander is a big deal for this Green Bay defense. Offensively, they're a little inconsistent, and then New England, it's kind of the other way. I trust New England's offense. They're just a machine, but then defensively, I just don't think they have a whole lot of talent on that side of the ball. So this is going to be a really exciting game. I think high-scoring, classic game, come down to the last possession. I'm going to take Green Bay in this one in the upset. 33-29. Can't wait for this game. So Tennessee at Dallas now, the last game. Not bad for a Monday Night Football game. Tennessee basically keeps every game close, it seems. And then Dallas is kind of trending up right now. I know they lost their last game against Washington, but excited to see what Amari Cooper offers this offense. I'm going to take Dallas in this game. I think it's going to be close, but I feel pretty solid that they can get this one in a primetime game. I don't really trust Tennessee late in games, Marcus Mariota, all that. So I think a good game here. I think Tennessee covers, but Dallas will win. So that's going to do it for the picks this week. Reminder, next week is going to be Patreon exclusive. So if you want the exclusive picks video next week, head over to my Patreon, link in the description. Join the MVP level subscription. We'll have the Studs and Duds podcast up today. I'll be in Carolina this weekend, but I do plan on getting Raiders rebuild videos out Friday and Saturday. So cheers, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.